sample design. Now, Unit 5 should be a lot quicker for you, a lot easier. All right, one of the main things you got to know is the terminology, the vocab. So population, that's the entire group of individuals that we want to know information about. All right, so if we're going to want to know something about this whole school, we could go and survey this whole school. But if you don't want to do that, then you're going to take a smaller portion of those people at school, and that's going to be your sample. The sample is a part of that population that we actually examine in order to gather the information. Okay? So now there's different ways to gather the survey, gather the information. And that's what the main thing that we're going to talk about today. Oh, we got a census that attempts to contact every individual in the entire population, just like the census that we got going on. I think it's over, right? Where they were trying to get everybody, figure out how many people we have in the United States. All right, so we've got to identify the population and the sample. All right, on this one right here, a furniture maker buys hardwood in large batches. The supplier is supposed to dry the wood before shipping. Wood that isn't dry won't hold its size and shape. The furniture maker chooses 5 pieces of wood from each batch and tests their moisture content. If any piece exceeds 12% moisture, the entire batch is sent back. On this, identify the population and the sample. Okay, so the population is the entire batch. Then the sample is going to be just the 5 pieces that we're going to be looking at. Good. All right, so next, come on. All right, identify the population and sample for this particular one right here. Okay, so the population is going to be the large group that I want to know about. So like if I'm going to poll people in the school, it's going to be the whole school that I would look at. But instead of going through all those 1,200 people, I'm going to choose a sample. So I'd choose a few per class or something like that. So the sample is the smaller group, and the population is the whole group that you're looking at, that you want to know the information about. It's going to be, let's see, it questions a sample of about 1,500. Let's see. Each week, a sample of about 15 adult U.S. residents to turn the national opinion. So the nation is the population, and then the 1,500 adults is the sample. That's the portion of the whole piece that you wanted. Hey, good point too, because now we're looking at, hey, wait a minute, what about the kids? What about the teenagers? Those kind of things. We're going to talk about that in just a second. So I'm trying to. All right, so there's different design methods that you can choose to get the sample for the population. Okay, so sample design is the method used to select the sample from the population. Some poor examples of sample design are as follows. Poor examples. Voluntary response. All right, we talked about that a little bit the other day. You're saying, you're just asking people, will they respond? And you're going to only get a certain type of people that will respond. And so that kind of narrows down the type of responses that you're going to get. So the voluntary response are people who choose themselves by responding to a general appeal. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So why is it bad? People with strong opinions, especially the negative opinions, are more likely to respond. Therefore, the sample is not likely to be representative of the whole population. Okay, so, like if you're on one of those calls, those customer calls, and they say, at the end, will you please do a survey? Well, if the call went great, you're probably not going to do the survey. But if the call went terrible, you're all about doing that survey. You weren't ready to tell people how bad it was and stuff like that. When hopefully that people would just do both. So, if there's a good report, you would want them to give the report too. But because it's voluntary, you're not always going to get the full information. All right, so that's why it's called, that would be biased, because you only have a certain amount of people that would answer that. All right, so convenience sampling. Obviously, anything that's convenient is probably not going to necessarily be the best option. But it's a sample chosen because the individuals are the easiest to reach. Right now, if we want to get a convenient sample, I would just conveniently ask the 3 people that are in my room a question instead of getting the information from the people that are online as well. So it's not likely to be representative of the entire population. Okay, that's why it's biased. All right, common thread. Sample designs are bad when they are not representative of the whole population. Sample designs are called biased if they systematically favor certain outcomes. And we talked about that too with, like, if I was going to find out what trends people like, well, if I just go and ask a certain age group, well, I'm going to get a certain result, but that doesn't necessarily represent the entire population of something. Like if I say, what do you like better, white shoes or black shoes? And then I go ask, the older generation, they're going to be sitting there walking around in white tennis shoes like the ones I just bought. Just saying. Old people. Whereas young people might think it's more fun to have the black tennis shoes. You never know. Leanna told me that I'd look better in the other tennis shoes, but I told her I just couldn't help her. All right, so some of the other problems is under coverage. Who did we leave out? A minute ago, we talked about that there were only adults that they looked at in that population, that sample population over there. Well, they left out the kids. They left out the teenagers. They left out the young adults would be still there, but the kids and the teenagers matter too. Unless it's about a product that they can't use or something. Non-response, they cannot be contacted or refuse to participate. In the convenient sample, it's just people that is easiest for us to get. And like I was saying, that if we were doing it for only the people that are sitting here in this class, I might not can contact people online because they don't answer when I call on them. Just saying. Anyway, so there's the non-response and stuff like that. Okay? All right, identify the sampling method and explain how it would lead to bias. All right, definitely take notes, guys, because so far we've done the voluntary design and the convenience design. Voluntary and convenience. So we answered that it would be a convenient sample because they're all on the top, and it would lead to bias because sometimes the farmer might put some of the bad oranges on the bottom so that they don't necessarily know what's coming your way. So there you go. That was good. All righty, let's do the next one. All right, identify the sampling method and explain how it would lead to bias. Okay, so we determined that it was voluntary because it's the people that decide to call that phone number. And also, since there's a charge, it could be, people, it could be an economical issue. It could be people that just really feel strongly about the issue to begin with. Those that are just kind of nonchalant, they may not call in. So there's several different reasons why it could be biased and stuff. Okay, that's good. All right, so now we'll go into the next part. All right, here's some good sample designs. Again, y'all need to be taking notes on these. All right, probability sample. It's any sample chosen by chance. We must know what samples are possible and what probability each sample has of being chosen. All right, so let's get into that. Choosing a sample by chance allows neither favoritism by the sampler nor self-selection by the respondents. And this is also up on, I'll pause it just a minute. Okey-doke. So now we got examples of probability samples. Simple random sample. Simple random sample. It's the simplest way to use chance to select a sample. It's comparable to putting names in a hat, the population, and drawing out a handful, which is the sample. Okay, so the population would be everybody, and the sample would be just the ones that are drawn out of the hat. Each individual has an equal chance of being chosen, and each sample is equally likely. All right, how to choose an SRS. First of all, you label. Assign a number to each individual in the population. They must all have the same number of digits. So if everybody has 2 digits or 3 digits, so if you have like a 4-digit number and you've got the person that has number 1, it would be 0001. Okay? Then decide if you will throw out repeats. All right, random selection. You can use a table. This is a random digit table to select numbers at random, kind of like what I did over here at the, let's go back over here. Over here I said, all right, so let's choose a number, and this is the table that I'm in, and I just choose the number, and whoever is in that number, that's the one I get. Or you could do a calculator. You can find a random number generator online, on your phone, or different things like that, and that will help you as well. Nope. All right, another probability sample is systematic random sampling. A random sample method that requires selecting samples based on system of intervals in a numbered population. Give you a moment to write. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. For example, Lucas can give a survey to every 4th customer that comes into the movie theater. So he's systematically choosing every 4th person. Another probability sample is going to be stratified random sample. You divide the population into groups of similar individuals called strata. Then choose a separate SRS from each strata and combine the SRSs to form a full sample. Okay, so if we're trying to get a sample of the people here at school, we could divide everybody into grade levels and then choose a certain amount of people from each grade level. Put their names all in a hat and choose 12 seniors, 12 juniors, 12 sophomores, 12 freshmen. All right. Choose an SRS from each class. Oh, I just said that. Look at me. Okey-doke. Another probability sample is going to be cluster random sample. And that's when you have items or people grouped into clusters and you choose a random sample of the clusters and examine it all in the cluster. All right, so look, if you choose an SRS of 2nd period classes, well, right there is just 2nd period. You're not choosing juniors or sophomores or whatever because they can all be mixed inside there. It's a cluster of people. And you sample everyone in those classes. And also, too, you're going to get people that don't have a 2nd block class. Okay? So that's cluster random sample. All righty. Another one is going to be multi-stage sample. And that's where you choose the sample in stages. Right? Okay, so in a multi-stage, you're going to be breaking it down and breaking it down. You're going to have different stages of breaking the information, the population down. Just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Okey-doke. All right, problems you could run into. Undercoverage. Some groups of the population are left out. Always a problem. Non-response. Individuals can't always be contacted or sometimes refuse to participate.